Well, howdy there. I'm the Watcher, and welcome back. I gotta tell you, I'm really excited about today's book, Team America #2. This one introduces two new characters, Cowboy and Wrench, and of course our old characters still feature. Now, Captain America hasn't shown up yet, but I have been assured that he does show up at some point. I think they might have added him later on after it wasn't doing so well. Although, if you watch the Comic Tropes episode about this series, he insinuates that Captain America was meant to be shoehorned in from the start, that his presence was a prerequisite to getting the comic off the ground. Now, of course, if you've been hating the Team America episodes, I don't know why, it's my favorite personally at the moment, but you can come back next week when I'll be doing part 2 to Superman Red Sun. Excited to finish that one up. I actually don't continue reading these. I stopped reading after I did my last video, so it's all fresh. I like you guys to kind of experience this with me. At least for me, that's part of the fun. Then you get more raw and genuine reactions to the things that happen in this book. Sometimes for better and sometimes for worse. Well, without any further ado, let's get to the story. Okay, welcome to the main segment. So starting off, you have this great artwork. Now, it looks like he's on a bike there. He's not. He's on like some sort of hover platform. The assassin dude. You got Cowboys leaping off that bike into the Jeep. And I gotta tell you, all the stuff that is on this cover is going to happen in this story. This is not misleading at all. So now, Team America on a Rocky Mountain death race. Of course, Marauders in there. And if you go to the back, you're going to see this ad that I believe we had in our last Team America episode, except in black and white. And this time, you can see it in color. Which, Dawn, she didn't have color, but you see she has some sort of crown now. And this guy, I'm going to call him Captain Prize. You know what? Captain Toll-Free. So Captain Toll-Free there, you can see his colorings, and it kind of reminds me of the Black Vulcan. And there's actually quite a few additions to the prizes here, such as this track, the tube. You know, they stand out a lot more when they're in color. It gets you more, like, wanting to see what that is and get it. I mean, you got metal detector there. A hair dryer for the ladies. Hair rollers, because you gotta get that Faraday. Now, when you get inside, you start off, you have this great little Cracker Jack story. Which, I don't know, Cracker Jack kind of, it's not something you called someone positive when I grew up, so I guess it's different now, but here, alright, so you got Scotty, a Cracker Jack story. Okay, Scotty, the score is tied. Bases loaded and 2 outs. Get in there and show 'em what you're made of. I'll do my best, coach. He's number 15 Cracker Jack. Strike 1! Gulp. What if I strike out? Strike 2! Whack! You can do it, Scotty. You're a Cracker Jack. And then it's like, when you're really good, they call you Cracker Jack. And then crack, home run. You did it, Scotty. We won the playoffs. What a Cracker Jack. And you know what? He's handling it much better. It's funny that this is in this book and last week's episode, Lie Wan, the Dreamwalker. We had a very similar situation, but it works out a bit better for this Cracker Jack. He's not getting any Catholic whacks. But yeah, that's it. It's just a little kid. He wins the baseball game, and there's a delicious ad for Cracker Jacks. I love Cracker Jacks. I liked how, like, a year or so ago, they're like, we're Cracker Jill. And a bunch of people freaked out, and then it was like, yeah, that was a one-time campaign. They're still Cracker Jacks. So this picks up right where you left off last time, and I'm going to point out Lobo here. He's actually smiling. He looks, although he kind of looks like when you tell a kid to smile, your mom wants you to smile for your photo, and they give you like a comfortable, uncomfortable, like awkward smile. That's how he looks right now. Okay, and then you get the second title, Fear and Loathing in Montana, which Hunter Thompson does not feature in here. I'm sure if you pay attention to the back of my bookshelf, I'm a little disappointed in that. You know, they're enjoying it, and this guy, he's all like, tell us about your heroic effort. And Lobo's getting mad. He's like, get that thing out of my face, gringo. And he crushes it with his hand. He just literally crushes it. And he's telling him off and he's threatening him. And they're like, break it up. Come on. And he's just thinking about like his mind link with the motorcycle. He's like, this is stupid, it's a waste of my time. And they're mad at him for making him look like a dick. Making their team look like a bunch of dicks. And that's what Reedy or Reddy, I'm still not sure how to pronounce his name, is trying to tell him. He turns around and he starts like grabbing his collar, calling him rich boy. He's like, I'm not touching my dad's money. In case you don't remember the last one, he gives him a nice little Rocket style kick to the face. And he picks up this barrel to throw it at him. And, you know, the head guy, he's like, that's like 400 pounds, which Lobo is really freaking strong to be able to lift a 400-pound barrel and toss it at someone like that. And he kind of gives him the Vulcan death grip there and makes him drop it. You know, it racks on the ground, and it crushes their trophy. And he's like, you broke the trophy. And he's like, be glad I didn't break you. I'm leaving, don't follow. So he goes, he's just being a pouty little edgelord. You have this Bubble Yum ad again. I believe was also in the last one. You know, I will say this book, it's in a little bit better condition. I might have even been the first one to open this, which makes me feel bad if true. That's part of why I make these, so I can go back and reread my comics without having to open them again. You have this little Dungeons and Dragons ad, which I'm going to point out, they don't have armor. They have like just colored tunics, which was popular then in fantasy. And these guys are just walking, and they get ambushed by these two homeless people. And they turn into werewolves, and they attack them. And that's pretty much it. Maybe that's why this didn't do well, the Satanic Panic and all. And then you have like a recap of their last victory playing on TV. And then you get this guy, a wrench here. He's in a little Winnebago with his wife. And he's like, Georgia, are you listening to this? He's like, I can't help but listen, Lenny. Because he's made this their entire life. And he's pretty much, he's going because he's going to be their mechanic. Because he feels like he can really bring something to the team. And I gotta tell you, never really seen his face in all the stuff I've seen of this comic leading up to it. Yeah, I mean, you don't see a lot of their faces. You just see them in the jumpsuits. Didn't know the makeup. So then you go to these Hydra people who are also talking about him. And you get this one that you find out is a female. And she's being set to eliminate him. She's like, certainly, I serve Hydra. And it's like, you serve me. No, she serves Hydra. She's out. She's like, hell, Hydra. And they're talking about how important it is to stop Team America. Even though they don't have like a reason to, you know, that bike, the Pops Koromoto bike blew up. So they're pretty much just trying to get revenge on them at this point. To eliminate them. And you find out about this assassin here. That they hired to get Team America. And this lady goes out to test him. And they're literally hiding behind a curtain. You know, that's freaking hilarious. They just have a curtain there they're peeking out of. They jump out to surprise him to test him. And they attack maximum force. And he's like, never warn your target. They might have a bomb. And they're like, oh, you were searching. He's like, not well enough. You didn't go all the way in there. Like, where else are you going to hide it? But, or like that fake nutsack the CIA had. He's like, I have no intention of dying. He starts beating the crap out of him. And they blast him with a gun, but then you see he has what they're saying is armor. And that's how they drew chainmail a lot in these. And I gotta tell you, like, this era in Marvel, they love putting all their superheroes in chainmail. It wasn't really good for penetrative damage. It was meant for like slashing and whatnot. But they use the hell out of it in here. I think even Captain America had it in the Captain America one I did about a month ago. And so he tries attacking her, and she's like, alright, you pass. I don't want to get the crap beat out of me, and gives him the little envelope. And he's criticizing the dossier she gave him. It doesn't hold him up, though. And then this guy with his motorcycle, he arrives at the Sam Motel. He's got a lasso. And he's come to join Team America, and he introduces himself by lassoing our main member there. His name's Luke. Cool hand Luke here. And he's like, he's telling him how he wants to join him. He's like, you may be the only one, Luke. Everyone else seems to want out. And then Reddy starts yelling at him. He starts just being emotional. And it cuts to Lobo. And he's choking this guy with a chain. He just went up to his biker group and started fighting him. And I guess they're like, all right, you're one of us now because you almost murdered one of us. And then Ratchet just pulls up in his little Winnebago to this, he saw this and thought, yeah, I'm just going to pull up in my little Winnebago with my polo and my hot wife. And all the bikers start moving in on his wife. They start trying to grope for her and whatnot. And then you cut and you have these ads. First, ROM Space Knight. Now, I believe the guy that did this also did G.I. Joe, which you'll see advertised in here later. And I kind of really like that artwork. I love that cosmic feel it has. And over here you have Willy Wonka, which I don't know which version of Willy Wonka that is, but he looks like Woody from Toy Story. You have a bunch of Wonka candies I don't recognize. I mean, bottle caps. I like bottle caps. And when I was a kid, I always thought, I love nerds, but other than that, I always thought the Wonka candy kind of sucks. It's nothing like the book or the movie, and the chocolate's really bad. And I come to find out it's because they weren't licensed to do it, and they're just trying to make money off of kids. They had Wonka in there, so it didn't have to be good. So they just made disappointing candy. And then you cut back to the sexual assault, and that's when Lobo's like, I've had enough of this. Because he suddenly turned on them, because he's like, yeah, I'm not down with that. And they all wind up dogpiled, and then Marauder comes out of nowhere and rides through their fire. I guess he lassos one of them up and pulls them off. And Wolf's just beating them down. Oh, look, it's Luke. Luke shows up, too. It's all of them. It's all of Team America, and they're just busting these guys up. And it's like suddenly bright out, and they're all driving off. And Ratchet introduces himself, and he's like, yeah, I got this bus. I painted it in our colors. I want to do all the work because you guys suck at it. You were fighting about it in the first issue. And he's like, well, Wrench and Cowboy, I guess Team America is now 5. Or 6 if you count the mysterious Marauder. Maybe Marauder's Captain America. Who knows? He does go undercover like that a few times. So then Wrench, he's showing off this go-kart they're going to use to compete in the next race. Because it's like a cross-country one. They're already off motorcycles by the second one. And honestly, the terrain, a dirt bike would be better. But Reedy's there. He's all playing the guitar, and he's teasing Lobo. He's like, because he's going to be the first leg of the race. He's like, you sure you'll be sober enough? He's like, Reedy, perhaps you'd like to ride with your guitar stuck up your... And they cut him off. They're like, gentlemen. And then you have the Hydra assassin from earlier. I keep pausing because I want to call him Sphinx because I've been watching Venture Brothers. This guy's talking about how he's been commissioned to kill Marauder. And he tears through them pretty quickly. Like, they're just like, oh, that's bullshit. And then, Reedy and Lobo, the hotheads, they jump at him and they just get pushed to the side like children. And he just walks off, and they're just reflecting on what a badass he must be to do that. Which Lobo just lifted a 400-pound barrel, so yeah. And Lobo starts fighting with Reedy again. And skips the next day at the race. They're yelling at him, good luck, Wolf. We're with you all the way. And he's like, muchas gracias, señorita. And then that's where he thinks to himself, none of us have considered that Marauder might be a woman. He still speaks about himself in third person, by the way. Then there is no time to wonder anything. The men and machines break away from the starting line in a roar like thunder. And yeah, just a bunch of custom machines doing this rough cross-country race. And that's why they have like stages of the race where you're supposed to switch out drivers. Because like it's been a few hours, his arms are tired, and anyone who's done like serious off-roading, like yeah, you get super tired. And Reedy's supposed to be there waiting, but they get attacked like by the Hydra assassin. He shoots some sort of weird missile at him, and it kind of just like shoots through the car and pushes them. And then you have this, write your own ticket, where you could get like bundles of comics. Like if you wanted the whole series, like you just go, I want this one, and you saved, it's like what, $7 in the store, you get them $6 each. Pretty good thing. You have some ads. You got the Muscles in 7 days, Tropical Fish and Plant Supplies, Self-Defense Kung Fu Karate, which yeah, why don't they just put Oriental Defense, everyone should finish high school, because if you're reading a comic, you didn't finish high school. Some slightly passive-aggressive ads in this one. You see the missile, it kind of just like crashes into him and starts pushing him off a cliff. And then Cowboy uses his lasso there. And he like gets a tree and swings them all out. But they can't make it to the next leg to be there for Lobo. But Reedy's kind of a dick about it. He's like, Wolf can go to the blazes for all I care, which I don't know what that means. And Wolf sees he's not there, and he's like, fuck him. I'm just so macho, I'm going to do it. And then the Hydra guy comes out on his flying treadmill there with some machine guns mounted to it. He's like, oh, good, he's going to be down there invulnerable. He just swoops in. Some kind of poorly drawn scenery here. But this guy does really good with drawing vehicles and whatnot, and people. So, you know, not everyone's good at everything. He's like, oh, what an easy target. Just pulls up right behind him. Starts blasting, but he doesn't get him. You know, some really cool... I mean, I just love this panel here. Weird gun sound effect, though. Reet, 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 reet. It's like a space gun. But he's missing. He's like, looks like my target is finally tiring. I can't believe he endured this long. And then look at Logan. He's all shaking. He's like... The strain is too much. I can no longer turn the wheel. His next burst will kill me. And then he's reaching checkpoint 2. And that's when Tex comes out of nowhere. He just rides out from the checkpoint 2 sign. And he jumps in that bitch. Look at him. He's just diving. He's letting that bike go. He's diving in there. And they don't even lose momentum because he dives in so well while Lobo scoots over. And he takes over. And they make it, and they get it right to the edge of the finish line. I mean, they're neck and neck here, right? But they did come in second, which is still pretty impressive. And they're trying to reflect on it, and Lobo's just like, no, I'm just going to be moody and run off. And Tex is, or Luke is explaining what happened, why they were late, how it was that Hydra guy that tried to kill him. He left him tied up to a tree, and the police are going to go get him. Because apparently you don't need to give testimony or anything. The police will just go to this random place out in the woods and find him and get him. But he's like, no, I had a hidden knife. I cut myself free. But you see there, Marauder's watching him. And he goes off on his flying treadmill, which must be loud because it says here, making scarcely a sound, Marauder follows as the assassin remounts his flying sled and heads back to report his failure. So yeah, flying sled. I guess it's not a treadmill. Looks like a treadmill. And, it's Hydra. They're going to kill him, but Marauder breaks in. And this Hydra guy is just screaming. He's like, Agent Marcus, there on the catwalk, Marauder. He's like, he switched the intercoms. You have this cool one here, which I don't feel like they need to break it up, but they did. Still, it's a beautiful panel. This guy's saying he's going to blow everything up pretty much just to get Marauder. The guy on the computer, I guess he's controlling it remotely. Oh, and here's the ad for G.I. Joe, which the G.I. Joe comics actually look pretty good. I might get some of those. And you have some of the old ones returning, like this one with the Thor ripoff. You have a weight gain supplements, that little bike and go-kart ad. Oh, the grab bags I like. It looks like someone literally wrote that with a Sharpie. 3 Mile comic bags. How to write your own songs. Really, really funny ads in this one. I always love these old ads. And so that guy, yeah, he did. He blew it up. You see, Marauder is literally like just flying out on his motorcycle. Looks like there's some other escape pods. And the assassin escapes soaring skyward. Unable to follow, the Marauder vanishes into the night. Which I really love the coloring on that one, how it's drawn. The deep purples. And you go back to Team America celebrating. I mean, very stirred. They got party hats. They got punch. You know, they're happy to see Wolf. He's smiling. Like, we're a team after all. You know, it tries to leave on a happy note, but then it's like, next, the breakup of Team America. Which I love how they still have to draw it as a logo, which is beautiful. The Mighty Marvel does it again. Blazing military action torn from today's headlines. Yeah, I kind of want to get that G.I. Joe one. And that's it. That's it for the story this week. You just have more ads, like the comic convention one. The ones that really stood out to me are these karate ones. Because first you have Wallace W. Ruman, which I never heard of that guy. So he must have not been like a Dante. Then you have 88 cents each, and you choose, I guess you mix some of these weird items. Like, the one that stood out to me was right here, the smoking pet. Really works. You would not see that today. It's just like, oh yeah, it's a pet and it smokes. That's what kids want. You know, look, it's like you're giving your dog a cigarette. This is my favorite. Giant lifelike karate practice dummy. You know, that was just like a piece of paper with these notes on. It's like punch 1, 11, and then 3 to do the sacred dragon fist. I would love to get my hands on this and see what it's like. I do have some interest in martial arts. I've studied a bit myself, so bad martial arts are always hilarious, and I would really love to see what this was, what they gave you, like how you learn martial arts with this. And just to go back and see some of those people that have no reference for Eastern style martial arts other than movies, getting that and then trying to learn self-defense with it. Man, maybe someday when the channel grows, I'll be able to find something like that online, and we can take a little walk down advertised memory lane. But today, that's been Team America. So without any further ado, let's get to the final thoughts. Well, welcome to the final thoughts. How do you like that counterclockwise spin? Look, you know, you have one of these chairs your whole life. I'm sure as a kid you did that. You spun around and you pretended to be like Dr. Evil. I did. So, I have an excuse to spin around in this chair. By God, I'm going to do it. This is actually the same chair from my childhood. But that's not why you're here. You're here for the comic. So, I really love this episode. Of course, El Lobo, the wolf, was just a characterized dick. Again, I don't know what that guy's problem is. Maybe they're going to reveal a reason for it later, like, oh, I saw my girlfriend murdered muchacho, so now I'm a dick all the time. I don't think it's going to go that deep. Myself, I think he's just like one-dimensionally grumpy. You know, I don't think it's going to be like Wolverine. There's going to be some huge overarching thing where it's like, I can't get close to people because Sabretooth is going to murder him on my birthday. But I thought it was a nice, campy little story. It had good pacing. It was a satisfying payoff, even though they didn't quite win this one. You saw the exciting introduction of a possible new antagonist. Also, that one Hydra lady, I'm more interested in what she has going on, how she's important to the story. And of course, when is Captain America going to show up? You know, when I found out he's in these, I found it funny because how much the motorcycle features for him, not only in the MCU movies, but I don't know if you've played Marvel Strike Force on your mobile device, but they have a lot of the Captain Americas, their attack is literally just riding a bike into people. Even Captain Carter. But she just gets a British theme while she does it. I don't know, it kind of reminded me of like G.I. Joe. I'm not sure, but I think the guy that did G.I. Joe might have worked on this to some capacity. I know the ad we've seen today, as I said earlier, that was created by the same guy that made G.I. Joe, which also advertised in this comic. You know, the whole patriotic angle, they probably figured the kids that bought G.I. Joe were also going to buy this. I believe at this time in publication, they were still seen as just funny little comics for children. It was a lot like how TV shows were sold when I was a kid. Not to say that my generation didn't come out with some really good kids media, such as Teen Titans, not Go. No, not Go. So, now that we're past that, let's talk about the power scaling. Still do not think these guys could beat Captain Planet. Captain Planet might actually ruin one of their races because he's like, hey, this isn't environmentally friendly. But then, you know, there'd probably be a racer who's like, actually, I got this green biodiesel bike that plants trees as you ride it. Something like that, you know, just something that'll pick that Coke can up off the ground and just let the trees grow or whatever. Look, I'm from the 90s. They shoved that down our throats. And then they reversed on it. Like, they were like, oh, we gotta stop using paper because we gotta save the trees. When reality, paper comes from farms. They like, the trees are sanctioned to be made into paper and replanted. And their alternative was plastic, and now we gotta get rid of the plastic because it's not going anywhere. It's just sitting there in the ocean. You know, I for one am for more biodegradable materials and finding better solutions in plastics. Probably the worst thing we've done to our planet. Captain Planet wouldn't agree with that. But then again, he is Captain Planet. He is a personification of the politics that I was forced in my childhood. But Team America, no, they definitely couldn't. They couldn't beat him. They might be able to beat him in a race, I guess. I've never seen Captain America ride a motorcycle, so who knows? Well, anyways, I love this episode, and I hope to see you back here next week. Again, when I do Superman's Red Sun Part 2. Until then, stay safe, and God bless.